Guys, you know Peter Pettigrew, right? The ruinously reckless, rat-faced right-hander riddle, Voldemort's vicious vermin who sought Harry's acquittal, the ex-marauder who led the executioner to the slaughter of the Potters. James saw him as a best friend, a golden snitch, but that snitch turned out to be a total bad guy. Oh, sorry, did I catch you with that last verse? Because I'm afraid it only gets worse, because I'm pretty positive Peter Pettigrew put a permanent pause on his paternal power. Basically, he found a woman to deflower, then fled like Snape facing a shower. Sorry, Snape, I didn't mean to throw shade. I'm just trying to say anything to stop people from having to think about Peter getting... What a worrisome theory. What woman's story could have ended so dreary? Now, to be clear, I don't think Peter ever made her his wife, but that doesn't mean he didn't fill her life with strife. And as luck would have it, or maybe it's just coincidence, Harry actually meets this boy, Peter's son, over the course of many incidents. It turns out he's a lot like his dad, you know, find the biggest bully and help him be bad, but I don't see any reason to drag it out. Peter's son was Piers Polkiss. I'm afraid there can be no doubt. Wait, who's Piers Polkiss? Don't you remember? He was just Dudley's very first gang member. He's the one who used to hold back Harry, forcing him to face his childhood adversary. So where to begin? How to tie Peter to yet another sin? Well, how about with the letter P? Piers Polkiss, Peter Pettigrew? It's a clue, don't you see? It might just seem like a simple alliteration, but it's preposterously present in this presentation. So here's my pitch. Piers' mom, she was no witch, but these P's still connect the dots like stitch to stitch from snitch to snitch. Piers has a rat face. It's his defining feature, and I don't think I need to be your teacher for you to know that's the same as this disgusting creature. Preach, sir! He and Harry are even the same age. Like, are we starting to be on the same page? Peter could have impregnated the mother about the same time Harry was conceived by a man who used to think of Pete as his brother. Of course, Peter didn't stick around. He was busy hiding underground. From friend or foe, it's hard to know, but eventually he heard the sound of the Potters coming to town. They told him their secret, and well, we all know what went down. It was the death of Lily and James Potter, and Peter became a permanent Weasley squatter. And did he spare any thought for his son? Not one. Of course, that's if he even knew he existed. His mind is seriously so twisted, but nonetheless, he resisted till he could be re-enlisted as the number 2 for, you know. But is it even possible Peter could woo a lady? Like, who would hook up with someone who was obviously so shady? But as a matter of fact, it turns out Peter maybe had some tact, the skills to attract, maybe make some flirty eye contact, which he could use to enact a good time. Something for which I'm sure any lady would like to file a retraction for fear of contraction of a fraction of anything to do with Peter Pettigrew. Bertha Jorkins is Peter's prime example, and I'll admit it's not a very large sample, but the evidence is indeed quite ample. For months, Peter was living in the woods of Albania, living off nothing but the skills of his kleptomania, when in walks Bertha Jorkins, a ministry official, a situation he decided he could turn beneficial. But this man is a rat. He has no home. He looks like an oversized garden gnome, and yet he goes to bat, gets her to chat, and just like that, Voldemort's back? How charming is he, this man with no power, a man desperately in need of a shower who's never been known to do anything but cower? I don't know, I mean, I guess even a broken clock could be right once an hour. How low are your standards though, Bertha? Come on! The point is that even looking his worst, Peter Pettigrew can be quite well versed. Make them ladies fall heels over head first, even if afterwards they probably feel cursed. But enough of that, let's pump the brakes, shift gears, and talk about how Peter and Piers both love snakes. On Dudley's birthday, they go to the zoo. Piers and even Harry gets to come along too, and even though Piers is rat-faced like a mouse, where did they go first? The reptile house. That's where Harry first talks to a snake until Piers sees him and squeals like a mandrake. But Harry's no fool, he's the son of a witch. He always knows what to do with the snitch. That's why Harry's always the victor, and why he set loose that boa constrictor. So from Valdi to Big D, Peter and Piers are the same, don't you see? Both of their names start with P. They hide behind the biggest bully. Piers grew up without a dad, and who was born at the same time Peter became a rat nomad. And yeah, if there's a snake, that's a plus, but honestly, that's all I have to discuss.